Okay, yes, my name is Randy Borntrager. It's an old Amish last name from Ohio. So but anyway, no, I wanted to come here today and thank you, Lenny and Andres, and obviously Walter and the others, Delegate Lopez for having me. Look, I work for a group called People for the American Way, and we're a group that fights the right wing and protects the First Amendment. And what we saw over the past decade or so was the right wing, some of the most fringes of our society, really start with a very anti-immigrant, but specifically anti-Latino rhetoric. So, what I do want to say is, if you remember one thing, is that the Latino vote had a direct impact on who we elected for governor, lieutenant governor, and especially attorney general in 2013. So give everyone, please, a round of applause if you were a part of that election, if you voted. It was huge. And let me start telling you a little bit about national trends, but how it affects Virginia specifically. The presidential margin among Latino voters has been growing since 2004. Where it's already 44% nationally. And so this is in California and in Texas and some other places where within the Latino community, they've seen day to day what it means for the different parties and who they elect. What we saw is that in California, for instance, we had what I like to call the Prop 187 moment, where a very anti-Latino, anti-immigrant ballot initiative was passed, and the Republican governor, Wilson at the time, used it for short-term victory. It was later overturned and thrown out by the state Supreme Court, but it awakened the Latino vote. And the land of Reagan and Nixon became the land of the blue fertile fields of California, where there's zero statewide Republican elected candidates right now in California. And that was because of the Latino vote, and that was because people became voters. They got the habit of voting, they understood why it mattered, and they understood the power of the Latino vote. We see that the share of the national electorate is going up and up. Over 60,000 Latinos turn 18 every month in America. That is a huge number. And yes, it's happening in those states with large populations, but it's also happening right here in Virginia. I will show you, Virginia in itself doesn't have a huge power. We're not Nevada or Colorado or California. But what Virginia has is that it's now one of the swingiest swing states of the nation. The closest presidential race since 2004 in Virginia was lower than the vote share of the Latino vote. We had a graph from Laura that showed the huge populations of Latinos. Almost 9% of the Virginia's population is Latino, but many are not citizens. Of the citizens, they're not registered. Of those that are registered, they didn't vote. But so did a lot of other people in an off-year election in 2013. But when you're talking about winning a governor's race by 52,000 and your vote is 54,000, there's a huge lift for that election. And so what we saw is that there's now the Attorney General speaking today. We elected somebody that believes in the Latino community, but it's also now politically viable and politically important for that community to turn out and vote and to do all the types of things that we've been doing over the course of the year and that you've been doing over the course of the years. This is the population growth just in the Latino community. As I said, Colorado, some of the bigger states, have enormous Latino population growth. Some states like Ohio have actually had negative Anglo growth. Virginia has over 100%, about 110% population growth in the last 13 years or so. The Anglo population is only going 6% in that time. So the enormous explosion of the Latino vote has huge ramifications going forward. Just to give you kind of why Virginia is going to be so important, if you win Virginia and Colorado, you can lose Ohio, Florida, Nevada, and Iowa and still get 273 electoral votes. 270 is what you need to win. That's a huge, huge position to be in for Virginia. That opens up the map. That's why you are going to already see, campaigns from both sides opening up here. That's going to be why you see more and more activity people on the ground, those type of things. Now, that's why everyone in this room is very important, because it's saying sustained effort in the off years, the on years, the registering, the understanding what's at stake, doing the hard work in the governor's office, talking to people why it makes a difference. Campaigns won't do that. Campaigns aren't built for that. That's not what they do, and that's not why they're there. They're there to win elections, and then we have to engage with the public policy people and get that there. The only way to continue is to do things like this, and I'm very happy that we had folks in the room that have decided to take it upon themselves within the community to do something.